Hey YouTube, it's Jethro here. Doesn't really have anything to do with prepping, but what it does have to do is a little bit of compassion. If you got extra, spread it around. My wife at work, she belongs to a group of girls. They got a little club or whatever going on, and they volunteer ever so often to basically not serve because they're all working all the time, but prepare a meal for the homeless. And then one of the gals or a couple of the gals takes it to one of the places and they serve it up. So what I want to do, because for some reason they volunteer me to cook whenever they do it, but I'm going to be making some pork with red chili sauce today. And you know, I spent $50 out of my pocket on what I'm going to be making for them. But that's not the idea. What I'd like to talk about is, for those of you that got those nice looking gardens out there, you know as well as I do, you plant too much of one thing or another. Yeah, it's fun to give it away to friends, and it's fun to show them that, you know, you can grow stuff. But I'd like everybody to take a little bit of time out and, you know, bag up a few of your goodies and just take them into a pantry. Take them into a Souls Harbor. Take them in somewhere where they fix dinners for some people. You know, I know that you don't want to feed everybody, but I've seen a lot of kids walk through those doors with moms and dads, and knowing that the kids get something good to eat, that's what makes it worth it. So basically, this is going to be real basic. I'm going to take all these pork steaks here. I'm going to cut them up into 1.5, 2-inch cubes and season them with a little bit of gray salt and pepper. And I'm going to brown them off in batches until they're pretty much brown and crispy in my Dutch oven. And then here in a little bit, I'll show you the red chili sauce that's going to go on afterwards. So we'll be back, guys. Okay, just to give you an idea, I mean, size of my hand, chunk of meat. I mean, that's a couple inches. I've got them a little bit smaller. I don't trim the fat off of these. I brown it pretty crisp and good. And what I'm going to do is, here's my pot, the bones. If you're making this for your family, by all means, save the bones, brown them, use them. There's a lot of flavor in that bone. When you're sending it out to feed others, good idea to leave the bone out of it. But what I have here is gray salt, and I hate getting it all nasty. Anyhow, we just take a little sprinkle as we put it in layers, and not a whole lot. It don't take a whole lot. That's probably a couple tablespoons, but I'll put a full another layer in on top of it, and by the time it's said and done, I don't know, this little 8-10 quart pot, I'll probably have 2 or 3 of those pots full of meat. And by the time I brown it down, I'll have maybe 1.5 to 2 pots. But this is a meal for about 50 people, and they're going to fix rice and sides to go with it. So by the time you put a pile of rice down, a little bit of meat on top of it, it goes a long ways. And we have it quite often throughout the winter. And the girls at my wife's work, I'll fix it 2 or 3 times for them throughout the winter. They actually request it. So anyway, that's the process, and we'll be back later. Okay guys, so here's set up, sitting outside on one of my outdoor cookers, cast iron going. I'm going to brown the meat off, and I will get it dark brown. Then I'll throw it over in the Dutch oven, and once I get it all cooked up, I'll go ahead and fire up the Dutch oven, and it'll simmer in that after I make the red sauce and put on there. But anyhow, here's what the setup looks like. Okay guys, so this is the first batch of pork going through. You can see it's got a nice crispy brown. And that's what you want. You want to put that crisp on there, because when it comes down to stewing, I guarantee the flavor is going to be different than if you just kind of let it turn gray and didn't put the crisp on it. A lot of little fat things in there, they crisp up like bacon. And when you go to stew them, it gives it a totally different flavor. Plus, I do use the juices out of the pan, deglaze, and put part of it into the kettle along with my red sauce. So, back a bit. Okay guys, the process for the red sauce is what I have is, right now there's a 1 quart of my home canned tomatoes in there, and I'll probably add some store-bought. I just need to rotate some stock out and get it gone, get me jars free to get ready to can some more. A little bit of chili powder. I'm going to use fresh, minced garlic. Some jalapenos, which I will seed. I'll take the outsides of them. I don't want to make it too spicy for the homeless. I will use onion and black pepper. And what I'll do is I'll make 4 or 5 batches of this in the blender, because the amount of pork I've come up with, I think, is right around 35 pounds after I trim the bones out. So quite a big batch, and it's going to take probably at least four blenders full. I'd say at least close to a blender per 10 pounds of meat. And when it cooks down, it turns into a nice lumpy meat with a real heavy kind of a tomatoey gravy or a chili sauce type of gravy. So anyhow, we're going to blend all this stuff up and we'll get ready to go in the pot in a bit. Alright guys, this is the finished product. You know, you still got some big old chunks of pork that's still hot, but they just fall apart. Ouch. Never mind. So anyhow, part of it's shredded. It falls apart. That red sauce makes a nice thick gravy. Leave this outside, let it cool. We'll throw it in gallon bags because they got their own ways to heat them up there for service. So anyway, just an idea. If you ever have a chance to give, do it.